perfect timing. So thank you everyone for joining us for the Women's in Trade virtual luncheon today. My name is Brianna and I work for WorkBC Centre Westshore Sooke. We also have Tony, who's our labor market specialist for WorkBC Centre Westshore Sooke. And we also have Heather, who is the Women in Trades coordinator at Camosun, and also Andrea, who is the pipes trade instructor at Camosun. Who will be doing a presentation on their great programs at Camosun. So before we get started, I'll just do a couple of housekeeping items to go over. If everyone can just make sure they're muted, which I think everyone is, and then also just make sure for privacy reasons, just turn off your camera during the presentation because this is recorded. And as mentioned, this is recorded, so we'll be sending out the recording after, just so if you guys want to go over any details or send it to anyone who may have not been able to join, we'll send that out after the event. So WorkBC Centre Westshore Sooke recognizes the traditional territories of the Esquimalt, Songhees, Sooke, Chinook, and Pacheedaht First Nations on which our offices are located. And we are proud to provide employment-related services to these nations. So for today, I'll be doing a brief overview of the WorkBC employment services. I'll get into a question and answer period with Tony, who will be going over the trends, stats, wages, and job security in the trades industry. And then I'll hand it over to Andrea and Heather, who will be going over the Trade Exploration Program and the Pipe Trades Foundation programs. And then after that, we'll get into the question period. So if you have any questions for Andrea or Heather and Tony, feel free to just put them in the chat box, even if you think of them throughout their presentations, and then we'll get to them at the end. So what is WorkBC Employment Services? They are free and available to all unemployed British Columbians who are seeking employment and are legally eligible to work in BC. They're located across BC. Particularly ours are in the West Shore, so Langford and Sooke areas. And we offer services all the way up to Port Renfrew as well. So WorkBC offers a range of services that support job seekers to improve employment readiness and to find or maintain employment. So some of our service that we offer are our resource center, which is fantastic. You can access a printer, photocopier, if you have any job search documents. And there's also a staff member as well that can help you with if you need a little bit of resume assistance or just anything with the computer or printer. We also have workshops. They're all virtual right now, but they range from like resume building to accessing the hidden job market. We also have a mature workers workshop that just started. We also offer the wage subsidy program, which basically offers a percentage of your wages for up to 24 weeks to unemployed individuals. We also offer personal employment planning. So we provide individualized sessions with employment advisor, so you can build like a return to work action plan. We also, for those who are unable to afford it, can offer job start support. So it's basically funding for work clothing, such as boots or scrubs, tools, and then as well as short-term courses, such as like food safe or first aid. We also offer job sustainment services, which help you resolve issues that may be impacting your ability to maintain employment. And then we also have a really great newsletter that Tony will talk about a little bit more later on. Called Job Links, and it's out every single day, and it's got a bunch of job listings and covers local employment information, and then also like any events or job fairs going on. That's our website here, so if you want to learn more about WorkBC Employment Services or sign up. And at the end of the slide, oops, we also have our contact information here as well if you have any questions. So I will hand it over to Tony now. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. A couple questions. Oops. All right. There we go. All right. So Tony, one of the first questions I have is, what are some of the trends about careers and trades that people should know about?
Yeah, awesome. Hi, everybody. So there's a couple of big trends. We could talk about the trades all day, I'm sure, but there's a couple of big trends worth noting. One is that until recently, BC was the only province in Canada that did not have compulsory trades registration. And that meant that there were some tradespeople, not all, but some tradespeople in BC who were working outside the apprenticeship system. Often that meant for them they didn't have the advancement or training opportunities that other tradespeople might have, and also would result in lower wages in some cases. So the province, this was changed in 2003 to remove BC from a compulsory system. The province has got us back in, so this is going to take place over the next little while. That's going to unfold. And I guess the other big trend is the shortage of skilled tradespeople in British Columbia. So even today we have a shortage of skilled tradespeople, and the province is projecting, the province recently put out a projection for the next 10 years about how many workers we need in BC. And that number is just over 1 million. And construction represents 8% of that. And that's just the construction trade. So basically we have 1 million new jobs in BC and many of them in trades. So there's going to be opportunities abounds for skilled tradespeople. If we want to be more specific to Vancouver Island, the province is projecting that we'll need 780 automotive service technicians on the island. And this is due to expansion, so new opportunities, but also to replace retiring workers. And the province also says on the island, we need 1,000 carpenters or more. And they are projecting that about 25% of carpenters will be retiring or leaving the field by 2031. So you can see it's a huge amount of people that we need, but it's also a huge amount of people that are leaving the workforce. And some other specific trades, the province is projecting we need almost 500 electricians on the island, over 2,000 cooks, over 600 heavy equipment operators, and also welders and plumbers, about 370 each of those. So tremendous opportunities to be had in the trades. And the issue is retirement for a lot of tradespeople. So 10% of tradespeople in Canada are eligible to retire in the next 3 years. And over 700,000 skilled tradespeople in Canada are expected to retire in the next 6 years. So that's coming at a time where we have fewer young people getting into the trades. And there's various reasons why that might be. Maybe our the people from Camosun can talk about why fewer young people are getting to the trades, but it's a lost opportunity for some. And right now, less than 10% of tradespeople in Canada are under the age of 25. So if you put those two things together, we have a lot of older workers, very few younger workers. We also have an economy that is ready to bounce back from the pandemic, along with the natural growth that will occur in BC in our economy and what the province is projecting. So it doesn't take a lot of analysis to see that essentially we're going to have a shortage of skilled tradespeople. And this is why we'll see so many initiatives and programs designed that are encouraging young people and other people who are not normally represented in the trades to get into the field. You'll see things like grants. These are things that exist right now. We have grant programs, scholarships, tax credits for people who want to become apprentices or who are apprentices, support through WorkBC with the cost of apprenticeship training, interest-free loans, and even apprentices who need to participate in the classroom part of the training can access the employment insurance program while they're in training. So there's a lot that different levels of government are doing to encourage people to get involved in the trades. So I would say our two key trends are the compulsory registration and worker shortages.
That's fantastic, Tony. Thank you. Maybe we can get a couple of those links or resources and I can send them out after the presentation.
Can do.
Great. So next question I have is, what percentage of tradespeople are female?
Yeah, the numbers are low, right? It's not, I'm going to read these numbers. I have some stats here. They're not very impressive. So in 2019, less than 4% of people employed in the trades were women. Now it is higher in BC and Alberta, where it's about, around 6.5%, but still not that high. And across the country, only 10% of registered apprentices are women. And if we want to look at the construction sector, it is higher. 13% of people employed in the construction sector are women, but that includes on-site and off-site workers. So again, and I think this is why we see programs like, or schools like Camosun College are offering programs to encourage women to get into the trades.
So what are the wages like in trades currently?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a very mixed bag. Many of the trades, especially the ones I listed earlier, the typical salary is about half the minimum wage. It's definitely a good, can be good paying work for many, many people, but many workers earn more than that, of course, and many workers earn less. And it depends on their trade and where they're at in their careers. So one study of the Red Seal trades found that after, a worker's been certified as a journey person 8 years down the road, that men make twice as much as women do. And there's a big reason for that. And that's because that many women are in the trades, in the low paying occupations. And those are hairstylists, cooks, and bakers. In fact, 80% of the women in trades are in just those three occupations alone. So what it does is when you look at the wages between men and women in the trades, it has to do with those differences. The men tend to be concentrated in higher paying fields like automotive repair, electrical, metal work. And so it's a big difference. And it is also worth noting though that in the trades, there are more people working full-time than part-time when you compare it to the rest of the economy.
All right. So are you able to tell us the impact of the pandemic and how it's had on the trades industry?
Yeah, so like the pandemic's been a huge disruptor to everything, right? There's no sector of our economy, of our society that the pandemic has affected, but of course, the trades is no different. On the basic level, we had many less people registering for apprenticeship programs across Canada. And that's just based on the uncertainty. I think many people were delaying their decisions. And also we had apprentices who had to delay their training opportunities, next level of training, just because there was not the opportunities. They might have had to wait for the training to roll around. So just on that level alone, we've had a huge disruption. And of course, there's also job losses. So Statistics Canada did a study on, which Canadian workers access the Canada Emergency Recovery Benefit, the CERB program. And it turns out that tradespeople fared, pretty well. They access the CERB program at a slightly lower rates than the typical Canadian worker. So that's very encouraging. But again, if we look at the female side of the equation, it's not as encouraging. Female skilled tradespeople access the CERB program more often than their male counterparts, and receive benefits for longer weeks. And if we think back to what I just said about the occupations in the trades that have a high percentage of women working in them, which is hairstylists, cooks, and bakers, these were three occupations or sectors that were impacted by lockdowns. Or experience less demand for services. So again, the trades were very solid in terms of the pandemic, but it depended on what trade you were in.
Okay, the last question I have is, are you able to share ways that people can stay on top of the trends going on in the trades?
Yeah, it's a lot to stay on top of. There's over 100 trade programs in BC, everything from aircraft maintenance technician to welder. As I mentioned, there's a huge amount of opportunities through just the growth of the economy and retiring workers. Skilled tradespeople are in demand. There's a shortage of skilled workers, and it means opportunities for people who get training and certification. And I mentioned earlier just about the retirement age. So like many of the people close to retirement age in the trades are those that are in management or supervisory positions. And it just shows the opportunities that if a young person gets into the trade now shows the career path they're going to have and the opportunities as they work their way through the careers. So it's worth keeping that in mind. But to answer your question, for those interested in the trades and those, doing, thinking about a career in the trades, I would say WorkBC is sort of the go-to place to get some help with that, to meet with a career, to meet with an employment advisor and look at the training options, look at any funding opportunities that might be available to them, including student loans. And then, Brianna, you mentioned already the Job Links newsletter. I do my best to keep track of all trends in the world of work as it relates to Canada, and we put that out 5 days a week, and that's available free to anybody who wants to sign up for it in essence. So there is help out there with the career planning, and there is access to information, and I would recommend WorkBC as a good place to start for that.
That's great. Thank you, Tony. I'll quickly share my screen with the Job Links newsletter. If I can get it up. It won't work for me. One sec here. There we go. So if you can see my screen, that's kind of what it looks like. So as Tony mentioned, it comes out every day. Sorry, Tony?
That's today's.
Yes.
That's today's issue. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, there's some job postings at the bottom, programs, events, and yeah, it has so much information in it. So, all right, stop sharing screen. And I see a participant has raised their hand. Did you have a question, Elise? Maybe they raised it by accident. If you did have a question, feel free to put it in the chat box, and then we can get it to at the end. All right, so we will pass it on to Andrea and Heather now.
Awesome. I'm just going to share my screen, Heather.
Excellent. Thank you, Tony, for all that great information. Definitely touching on a lot of the things that we see on a day-to-day basis. We're constantly getting inquiries from industry looking for students who might be looking for employment. There's a lot of demand out there for people in the trades. Yeah, and as you touched on, a lot of incentive programs and things as well. So we're going to run over some of the details of what we offer through the Women in Trades program and those funding options, and then dive into a little bit of current availability in the pipe trades as well.
Fantastic. All right.
So the Women in Trades program runs, there we go, it's open to women of all ages, backgrounds, and skill levels who are looking for a way to get into the trades. May not know what trade they want to be doing, but have always liked working with their hands, have always had that desire to be doing something that isn't at a desk. Seems to be the commonalities that we see of people applying for the program. We run through a lot of different trades, and we will get more into that later if I remember my slideshow properly. And we also have funding opportunities and sponsorships available for women getting into their foundation programs. And not on the slide, but we also have sponsorship and funding available for women in the apprenticeship programs as well. So we try to see people through right from the beginning of their desire to get into the trades, right through to the point where they have their red seal. And beyond, we keep in touch with our alumni and community, and that's a big part of what we do as well. We have 2 programs that we run annually for the sampler. They're 12-week programs. I've got one starting on April 4th. There is limited, but still a couple of seats available in that one. And then I'll have another program running in September. I don't hold over applicants from one intake to another, but I do have an interest list. So if anyone is looking to get into the fall one or would like to try to get one of the last seats in the spring, they can certainly reach out and we can do an application process. We open for applications a couple of months prior to the samplers starting. Still a lot changes in people's lives from the winter in through the fall, whatnot. So we find it just makes a lot more sense to start the applications close to the actual training dates. Yeah, so a little bit more about the program. We look to offer employment and entry-level training. People will come out of it not necessarily ready to dive into a trade, but ready to know what they're looking for, what interests them, what trade they'd like to pursue. Many students will move on to starting an apprenticeship and finding a way into the trades that route, and many more come back for our foundation programs to get more information, more skill level, more training in that specific trade that they've chosen. It's very hands-on focus. We do introduce students to our online learning platforms and some of the theory of the trades, but we do a lot of really fun projects. We like the students to be able to take something home that they've created. The pipe trades, they do an amazing copper watering can. I've got some photos later on. They make an electric extension cord in the electric shop. They do a sheet metal toolbox that they take home, which is pretty awesome. So not just that introduction to which tools are part of which trades, but the hands-on applications of what it feels like to be involved in that trade and what skill levels are involved. And people are often really surprised and excited to find things that they had no idea they were interested in. Which
Yeah.
I
think it's kind of neat that they get to try on quite a few of the different trades. They may come in thinking they want to be a carpenter, and all of a sudden they do welding and they really connect with welding and they change their mind. So it gives them the opportunity to see if what they thought they liked, they didn't, and what they thought they'd never fall in love with, they really resonate with them as a career choice.
Absolutely. And part of that, with our introduction to the trades, we do talk to the students about the path that they will need to follow to get to their red seal and what opportunities are available in the different trades. We seem to be circling back to welding a lot today, but it's a great example. Tons of camp jobs. If you want to weld on Vancouver Island, it's a slightly different approach and a little bit more challenging to find work than, say, in sheet metal. We're starting to have more metal fabrication on the island, but like sheet metal on the island is booming, constantly being asked for potential students who might be interested in work. Pipe trades is one that there's a lot of work everywhere. So we try to introduce students to what routes are available to them in each different trade and what that career path could look like. Just an outline of some of the trades that the sampler includes. It is something that's not a set in stone thing. We mix it up depending on availability in the shops, depending on availability for faculty instructors, and also looking at some of those industry trends. We're going to try to focus more on the trades where students are more likely to find employment right away when they leave the college. And also elements of where there's seats available for them in foundation. So we don't like students to have to go through the 12 weeks, fall in love with something, and then sit on a wait list to get started for a long time. So we do try to outline that and to focus where there is the space available as well. We not only do the hands-on tool time and the theory of the different trades, but we also do a lot of certificate training. Things that will look great on your resume, as I'm sure WorkBC also does a lot of that. So we do put students through their first aid, through WMIS, fall protection, confined space entry, and their TDG, all as part of the program to give them sort of that overview, some of the skills that employers are looking for, especially as we do have a lot of students who are looking to make big life changes. They may come from hospitality, they may come from a background in administration or retail. We get a ton of tree planters. So we get people who have resumes that work for what they've been doing, who are looking to make that transition. So some of the certificate training really is a great way, not only to give them skills that are useful in the trades, but also to make their resumes look really impressive when they go out there looking for those jobs.
And recently, we've also been offering the trade sampler groups with scissor lift certification. So they also get their mobile elevated work platform certificate, which is good for 3 years to bolster their resume.
And is really fun.
It is totally fun.
It is a fully funded program. provide PPE, so we provide students with vouchers for steel-toed boots and work pants, any of the tools, equipment that you'll need while you're in the program, we make sure the students have available to them. We're excited that COVID protocols have allowed us to get back to doing things like site visits, which is just another one of the really fun elements of introducing students to what it's like to be out in industry and give them an idea of what it's actually like on a work site. Work experience fits into that one as well, which we're really pleased we were able to bring back for the last group and look forward to doing with this one coming up. Oh, and we go to Hero Work, which we love to be able to get out in community and do some things that are giving back to community, and the involvement with Hero Work has been a big part of that. And it was one of the only things that we were able to get the COVID college protocol okay to do during the first sampler after the big shutdown, because they had such amazing protocols in place and such a clean job site that we were able to get students out there, which is really applicable hands-on tool time, right? You're actually seeing a project and understanding why something is being done. It's not just making something or learning how to do a tool, use the tools in the shop, but actually getting out there. I'm on the site in the picture, we were at the Salvation Army, and Andrea had the students like drilling holes through concrete floors. And
yeah, we did all the plumbing for drainage for the new kitchen renovation for the Salvation ARC. So yeah, it was a really phenomenal project to be a part of. We got to take out a massive hood fan for the kitchen together as a team, real team building experience, but also really exposed the students to what it's like on a real work site. And in the past, we've taken students to other Hero Work projects. I also take our plumbing foundation students on occasion as part of their regular week, just for a really neat learning experience. And the networking that they're able to do at things like this with other tradespeople, bend the ear of people in industry is really, really cool to see. And they can drive by that job now and say, hey, I built the soup kitchen downtown. So it's kind of really rewarding for these students to have that kind of experience and opportunity.
One of my favorite parts with Hero Work as well is tapping into that networking opportunity. And students would come with the group, whether it be the foundation students or sampler students, and then they would want to keep going and see how it carried on and give more time to it. So they would be signing up for volunteer shifts outside of school time and making some really great connections.
Yeah. Oh, opportunities in the pipe trades. I guess that's all me, hey, Heather?
I figure I probably have talked enough, so.
So the photos are the project that we do with our trade sampler students at the end of the week. So our trade sampler students get to make a really cool copper watering can, but it's actually learning to use a number of skills that we have in the pipe trade. So soldering, brazing, bending copper tubing, preparing copper pipe. But part of what we're offering right now in the piping trades at Camosun College is we're part of a pilot project that's a combined effort between 3 educational institutions in BC. So BCIT, Okanagan College, and Camosun are running a pilot curriculum in our foundations programs, looking to further build capacity for women to complete their Red Seal training. So right now at Camosun, we're running this curriculum in the piping trades. And the curriculum focuses on equity, diversity, and inclusion in the trades as part of the foundations program, but also on things like anti-bullying initiatives, bystander intervention training, and equipping students with skills around resiliency and employability to prepare them for their transition to the field when they're done their 30-week Pipe Trades Foundations program. So currently at Camosun, with a partnership with the Women in Trades Department, we've been able to offer fully funded seats for women in the Pipe Trade Foundations program for the 30-week entry-level training. The 30-week training takes students through everything from basic safety, hand tool awareness, power tool awareness, to installing full drainage systems. And it explores kind of the myriad of our Red Seal trades. So under the piping trades, we offer Red Seals and sprinkler fitter, steam fitter, pipe fitter, plumber, Gas fitter will soon be a red seal trade, and refrigeration HVAC technician. So there's a bunch of different career pathways that you can choose within or under the umbrella of the piping trades, and we give students an opportunity to try each of those out during their 30-week program with us. Anything you want to add there, Heather?
I think that covers it. And along with that, even though this is definitely where we want to see women for the time being, but we do have opportunities available in all of the foundation programs. And however great Andrea is at recruiting, we do encourage students to find the fit that feels best for them. And just circling back to that element of being introduced to each of the different trades and just really deciding what they want their career path to look like.
Yeah, and we have, I'm actually really excited that we now have on faculty, is it 6 female trades instructors?
Yes.
So in the different trades, there's definitely a touch point for women to talk to about those experiences that we've had in the field and to kind of get some advice going forward. And I think it's important to see that visibility. And Camosun's definitely been doing a really good job recently of increasing their female trades instructors. So quite impressive.
Oh, it's fantastic to see.
Did you have any other slides, Heather? There it is.
No, that was the contact information slide, because we are always available for questions. If something has sparked your interest, feel free to email. We can look at applications and eligibility, whatnot, for the sampler. Yeah, I made a couple of notes during Tony's talk that I thought we could circle back to as well. Tony had mentioned young people into the trades and wondering why there has been that lull, and I think that's something that we can address, how we're looking at helping correct it, in that we do have a lot of very active partnerships in place with the high schools specifically. We've got the South Island Partnership that offers dual credit for high school students to come take college training while they're in high school, which is an awesome incentive and initiative. Yeah,
and we're also sorry.
No, go ahead.
We're also doing outreach to middle schools and high schools with our mobile piping trade simulator. So we have a 20 some odd foot trailer that we drag all over the island to visit high school and middle school students to expose them to the piping trades. And that's a government and union funded project. So that's pretty cool. Coming to a high school or a middle school near you.
Absolutely. So some really fantastic initiatives in place trying to focus in on getting students interested early on. I think that one of the things Andrea and I have in the works is a summer camp coming up in July for middle school aged girls. And that element of being able to put them in a trades type environment, get some tools in their hands early on, let them know that it's even an option. I know when I was growing up, it was, what courses are you going to take at university? It wasn't, what do you actually want to be doing? And the trades were never really presented as an option at a young age. And I even see that now with a lot of the different students who come in for the sampler, who are coming to me through having finished university degrees or parts of university degrees in things that are fascinating, but haven't resulted in them being able to find employment. So they come to me with their anthropology degree and decide that it's time to do something that's going to get them into a solid work environment. Let's just address some of the questions in the chat as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So when, let's address Barb's question here first. So
Sure.
When you're in the course, you definitely get steel toe boots provided to you by way of voucher. So we'll provide you with a voucher towards getting your steel toe boots and getting some Carhartts or some work pants. We'll also provide you the high visibility vest, hard hat, and you will get a good handful of DESI damps and some safety glasses as part of the course to use. And I believe, Heather, we're still giving them the high vis vest and the hard hat to go home with. Is that correct?
Yeah, we sure.
Did they take the safety glasses as well?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. Yes, for sure they do.
And the pants and the shoes are yours.
Yes,
Once you've worn them, they're yours.
Absolutely. At this point, we haven't been doing any hearing tests or fit for work testing. I know that's something that they do through PICE. And so something we've been looking at, but have not at this point incorporated into the programs.
And Aaron has asked here if we can share a little bit more about the sponsorship for foundations. I know it is not just for piping trades, although I'd love for you to all become plumbers. I'm totally biased. But Heather is able to sponsor students in any of the trades programs, foundations programs at Camosun, women in trade students.
Not any of the foundation programs.
Okay.
The majority of the foundation programs, which circles us into, again, what Tony was talking about with the higher representation of women in baking, hairdressing, and cooking. I am not able to sponsor culinary or horticulture because it is not deemed that there is a low enough percentage of women to justify the added incentives and supports. But the rest of the trades that we offer at Camosun, I am all over.
Yeah, carpentry, sheet metal, fine furniture, automotive, heavy duty mechanical, electrical, welding, piping trades.
Yeah, and sponsorship is open to anyone who is a Canadian citizen or is eligible to work in Canada. So as long as you have an active SIN, you are eligible to apply for the funding opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen a lot of different students come through, especially with the sampler, who have been new to Canada and looking to make some headway into what they want to be doing in the job force here.
Well, that's a good thing to know about hearing tests. Free for trades through WorkSafe. Maybe we can look at doing some partnering there.
That sounds like a great thing to be adding in, and maybe even for the foundation students, not just for the samplers. Hey?
Absolutely. Thank you for that information, Barb. And Aaron was wondering what the sponsorship program entails. I'm going to let you take that one, Heather, because you are the lady who holds all of the money. And I'm just the fun tradesperson.
That's awesome. My teenager gave me a new job title, and he called me a specialized spender of government funds, which I think is a pretty awesome job, to be honest. It's pretty amazing to be in a position where I am able to help to make some of these changes and help support women who are looking to make these changes in life. So there is an application process for the foundation funding. Well, and for the sampler program as well. The full level of eligibility is available on the website. We're looking for people who are either unemployed or precarious employment. Precariously employed certainly covers a lot of people these days. So if you aren't making a full living wage, or there isn't room for advancement, there isn't room for growth in your current role, then you most likely fit into that umbrella of precarious employment. And then through the sampler, it is a fully funded program. There is no tuition. We take care of all of the student fees, all of the tuition, the PPE, anything you need for the course. We don't cover living expenses. We can't pay rent. It's just not how the program is designed. For the foundation programs, for eligible participants who receive funding, we cover tuition. We cover student fees. With those student fees, you get medical and dental benefits. You get a bus pass. You get access to the gym at the college. There is a lot of perks. There's free counseling services available as part of your student package. So we cover all of those fees. And again, for foundation as well, we set you up with PPE, books. Pretty much covers what our sponsorship is able to handle. For people who don't fit into that, or once you've left foundation and you're no longer eligible for the Women in Trades training funding, we do have a privately funded portfolio at the college called Empowering Women that I mentioned earlier, that can look at funding some of the different foundation programs that we can't through WIT, and also is able to provide tool support and supports through apprenticeship, whether that be life supports or whatnot, when you come back for your training.
And we do also offer supports for Indigenous
Yes.
people getting into trades training through a separate portfolio at the college. And it also provides very similar supports to the supports the Women in Trades program has to offer. And it will fund students for foundation programs as well.
Absolutely, and into apprenticeship too. So yeah, a lot of great incentives for people getting into the trades these days.
Fantastic. We'll leave the question box open for a little bit longer. If anyone has any other questions, we'll give you a minute more maybe to populate anything you want in there. And as mentioned, this session is recorded, so we'll send it out after to everyone. And if anyone has any questions after the session that they can think of, we will send out the contact information for both WorkBC and also Camosun. So feel free to reach out to any of us. I think a question did come in though. So what sorts of supports are available for students with disabilities? That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a great question, and really is something that we approach in a case-by-case basis. So we do have the Center for Accessible Learning, and students can register in with Kel, and we're happy to help with that process as well. That provides a lot of liaison type support between the student and faculty, whether that be a reader for test taking or additional time, private space, quiet space. I'm not sure what else is available in that.
We do also have tutors available for math on campus. So if that's a barrier to learning, there are free math tutoring services provided by the college 4 days a week currently. And there are other accommodations that are, like Heather said, made on a case-by-case basis, depending on the nature of the disability. Sometimes we may have a physical impairment and we need to approach things in a slightly different way. And we're definitely willing to work with students across all the trades programs to make sure that things are safe and that they go well for you and everything works for you as well. I think I saw another question pop up there. I'm sorry, I'm jumping in there.
Vaccination requirements. So at this point, the college does not require vaccination or vaccination passport to attend class. If you are a registered student, it's deemed as an essential service and has not been something that we've required from our students.
I would say the only barrier that we've had with regard to vaccination is with work experience as part of our Foundations Pipe Trades program, because some employers do require vaccination. But as far as the college goes, like Heather said, there's no requirement for you to be vaccinated to be at the college.
And some of that may be changing too. I know for a period of time, the most recent was that you would have had to show your passport to go to the dining room. It's not the cafeteria. The cafeteria was deemed essential, but the classroom restaurant that the culinary students put on is more of a restaurant, so it required passports. The gym services required the passport. So going to see like a Chargers game required a passport. Anything that wasn't deemed as essential to your education did, but if it was part of your curriculum, part of your day-to-day studies, then you didn't. Yeah. No age limit at all.
I have had a 55-year-old student once in the program, and she was freaking phenomenal. And then she jumped into I had another 55-year-old student in the piping trades program. So you can change careers at any age or learn a new skill at any age. There are no age barriers. We are not ageist.
Absolutely. Yeah. Excellent.
That's fantastic. All right, we'll leave it open, the chat box open just for a little bit longer. Any more questions that anyone has, just feel free, put it in now.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, we do have some limited space available in the April sampler. It is pretty full, but I'm going to do a bit of a wait list as well. There's always life happens and there may be someone who drops out. So if you are interested and available to start in April, I would encourage you to email me as soon as possible and we can get started on that process. And then again, with the one running in September, that's also wide open, as we won't start accepting applications until the summer on that one. You can email me at tdskey@camosun.ca.
I'll send that out in the email after to everyone.
Oh, perfect.
So, oh, perfect. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I don't think I see any other questions in here. Yeah, so I think we'll wrap it up then. Thank you so much, Andrea and Heather and Tony, for speaking about the programs and all the supports available for women in trades. As mentioned, we'll send out all the information at the end of the recording, and yeah, feel free to connect with Camosun or WorkBC Centre if you guys have any questions.
Excellent. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was
Bye,
great.
everybody.
Great information. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.